In this quick tutorial, I will show you how to lay out a template for the cover of a book. So, the size that I'm going to use as an example is what we call a half letter size, which is your typical 5.5 by 8.5 inch book cover. And that's what we call the finished size, 5.5 by 8.5 inches. So, first thing we're going to do is we'll go up to File, drop down to New Document, and you're going to see, by default, you're going to see the letter size set up 8.5 by 11. You can either type in 5.5 by 8.5, or if you just click here, you'll be able to drop down to where it says letter half size, tap on that, and then you want to make sure that the orientation is portrait, and as you can see, 5.5 by 8.5. We'll keep these measurements here the same. Well, actually what we're going to do is, let's make our margins, let's set our margins to 0, okay? And then with most book covers, all right, you're going to have what they call the bleed. And the bleed is where your images, or, if you have a color field, it typically, it bleeds off all 4 sides. So your bleed is going to be 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125, all right? We have the link here, so once we hit the tab key, it'll populate on all 4 sides 1/8 of an inch. So you have 5.5, 8.5, and then you have your bleed at 1/8 of an inch. Now, a book cover consists of more than just the front cover. It consists of the back cover, the spine, and the front cover, in that order. Back cover is on your left side, spine, of course, is in the middle, and of course, the front cover is on the extreme right-hand side. So you want to make sure you have facing pages selected, and you tap on, you want 3 pages. 3 facing pages, 5.5, 8.5, with 1/8 of an inch bleed all the way around. We'll say OK. Now, when you set it up, you can look at it and you can say, well, wait a minute, this is not exactly what we want, because this is set up as a book layout. In other words, you have your front cover is on the right-hand side, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. But we really want all 3 of these pages to be in a row. 1, 2, 3. So we need to get these 2 pages up here. So what you want to do is put your finger on the Shift key, tap on 2 and 3, so now you have all 3 pages selected. Next up, in the page palette, go to that little grid. Let me just move this out so you can see it. Okay. Go to that little grid in the upper right-hand corner, and you want to click off on Allow Document Pages to Shuffle. And the reason why you want to do that is because now you can select page 2 and 3, take those 2 and just bring them right next to page 1. So now we have what we're looking for, all 3 pages in a row. And let me just move this. I'm going to anchor this or dock this. All right. So now, as you can tell, they're all the same size, but we know that the spine is going to be narrower because of the page count. And you might say, well, why not just do all 3 pages on one document? Well, the reason why you don't really want to do that is because you're not really sure what the page count is going to be, and your spine is going to have to be adjusted based on the size of your book. So the reason why you want 3 pages is because you want to be able to control the size of the spine in the middle. And you might say, well, how do you do that? Very easy. Using the page tool, all right, you will tap on that center page, which is your spine, and now you can change the width. Let's say, for example, right now it's 5.5 because it's the same size as the front page, and the front cover and the back cover, and you could say 0.5, which is a half inch, and look what happens. Now you're able to adjust the spine accordingly. So as you're laying out the book for your client, and let's say, for example, if it's a 200-page book or a 100-page book, you'll be able to very quickly make those adjustments. Right now it's a half inch. I'll make it 1/4 of an inch, which is 0.25. And you can see everything will adjust accordingly. So that's really why you want to lay out your book cover template as a 3-page document as spreads, going from left to right, being your left page is your back page, the center, of course, is your spine, and the right page is your front cover. Hopefully that helps.